Hey everyone, welcome to Unique Ways with Thomas Gerard, an audio podcast. I had a really great guest on today. They are the author of Good Services, the best-selling book on how to design services that work, and the founding director of School of Good Services. They're the former director of design for the UK government, where they founded the discipline of service design, growing a 2,000 strong team of designers into one of the largest and most influential design teams in the UK, winning a Designs of the Year award and a D&AD Lifetime Achievement Award. Please join me in welcoming Lou Downe. Welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me, Thomas.
Are you ready for 20 questions?
I am. Go for it.
Great. Question one. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. What do you do?
So, I run the School of Good Services. We are a training and coaching and general kind of capability support organization that works with organizations that are big and small to help them to develop the skills that they need to design and deliver better services. Yeah, that is what I do now. And yeah, I think you've covered all of my backstory in your intro.
Great. And just a note for the audience, if you guys are interested in the big 2025 episodes, check out our episode with Kareem Rashid. Question two. What's a key piece of knowledge that makes you different?
Ooh, I think probably it's not necessarily a key piece of knowledge, but maybe it's a skill in making knowledge accessible. So the book Good Services is about the 15 things that every service needs to do to work well for its users. And the reason why they're the principles of good service design rather than the principles of amazing and unique service design is because they are the things that every single service needs to do at a really basic fundamental level. So they're things like being findable to your users, setting your users' expectations, not having any dead ends, things that we probably all know, as people who work on services, but are harder to do in reality. So that book I think has been popular because yeah, it's very straightforward. It's very simple and understandable. So I would say it's not necessarily knowledge that is kind of unique, but perhaps maybe an ability to be able to communicate that knowledge.
Great, I love that. So question three, why this of all things? Why do you do what you do?
Well, I feel very passionately that the world around us should be a more pleasant place to be for everyone, not just the people that services are usually designed for. It's something that I have always been involved in from when I went to work for the government for 7 years, doing that in the public sector, to before that when I was working in the private sector. And yeah, it's really a mission, I think, to try and help people to design and deliver better services and to make the world a better place because of that. And to help people with the skills that they need to be able to do it. So yeah, this is really, I suppose, my mission. And yeah, I guess I am a person who probably has been excluded from lots of services for lots of different reasons as well myself personally. So I have a lot of empathy for people who are in that situation.
Great. So some people struggle with number four, and the question is, what does your future look like?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't think anyone can really know what their future looks like, but I would imagine that I would carry on doing what I'm doing at the moment. I love it. I love teaching. I love helping people to kind of do better in their work. So yeah, I think I will probably carry on doing that. I'm also writing a new book. So that has just been finished actually a couple of days ago. It will be out in May 2026 called Bad Services. And that is really about why organizations struggle to produce good services and what they can do about it. So I would imagine probably my future holds a lot of talking about that book. Ironically, I wrote Good Services thinking that if I wrote a book, I'd never have to talk about it ever again. And that is definitely not true. So I think this time I could probably just predict that I'm going to be talking about that for a good while into the future.
Great. So five we say is unique to this show. The question is, let's talk about location. How does the notion of place play into what you do?
Oh, yeah, really good question. Obviously, I'm here in the UK. So, Yeah, we've gone through a lot. I think many countries have in the last sort of 10 to 15 years. We've had a very long period of austerity policy, which has really deeply fundamentally affected, I would say, the mentality that most organizations take towards service design. This kind of idea that there isn't enough time, there isn't enough money, there isn't enough resources to be able to kind of do the luxury, and I'm doing air quotes, you can't see them, of design and user research. So I think that is very much a perspective that's rooted, I would say, in many countries that have gone through that political shift, certainly here in the UK. I am based in now rural Devon, which is in the southwest of the UK, which is where I grew up. So I guess place really kind of plays into my understanding, I guess, of just how hard and challenging it can be for organizations that, their main thing is not the internet, to actually provide services that work on the internet. Not everyone has the money and the time to be able to do lots of user research or hire designers and developers. So that's certainly something that I'm really aware of. That kind of urban-rural divide that there often is in navigating and understanding how to kind of operate on the internet. So, yeah, I would say place is kind of very in what I do, but I work with people who are all around the world, and so I'm always fascinated to see the kind of differences and similarities in approaches to services and service design in different countries.
Great. Six, you're starting from the beginning. What advice do you give your former, younger self?
Hmm. Get some more hobbies. Um, I think I'm probably one of many people in this sort of industry that cares very deeply about what they do. And suddenly, what I've started to notice is that the people who care the most about their work tend to burn out the fastest. And so it took me a long time to realize that I was one of those people. And that I was putting far too much of my own, kind of personal energy and sort of hopes and dreams and identity into my work. And that, yeah, I needed to do other things. I needed to be a whole-rounded human being. And I think we all struggle with that. So I think I would give that advice to myself is to make space for myself, attach my own oxygen mask first before helping others, which is now advice that I give to a lot of other people as well, whilst trying to do the same myself. So, yeah, I think that's the advice I would give.
Great, and what's a day in your life like?
Oh, day in my life. So I, as I said, live in quite a rural area now, and I live in a very old building that used to be a farm and has some land attached to it. So usually, what I will do in the morning is I will get up and I will go and have a look at my veg plots, have a poke around, see if anything has grown. Tell my wife Sarah that I'm only going to be 10 minutes and then I'm probably gone for about half an hour. Have a look at some trees, then come in, avoid answering some emails. I'm not great at emails. It's not my happy place to be. And then, yeah, a lot of my days are spent coaching, delivering training, having sales calls with clients, talking to them about what they need, the challenges they're going through. And yeah, probably going for a run or a swim, something like that. I like to kind of spend more of my time outside these days. So the more I can kind of be doing what I'm doing on the go, the happier I am, I would say.
Great. And eight, lifelong learning is a popular topic. How do you stay up to date?
Ooh, following my interests, I'm a big believer in the kind of rabbit hole approach to learning, and I would probably say that there are some core interests that I have that I will always be following. So I will genuinely kind of read anything about mushrooms and about mycelium. That's a big nerdy topic for me. And obviously about service design as well. And if there's anything in between, I will 100% be reading it. But yeah, I I tend to kind of mix what I'm reading. Little bit of online stuff, but I read a lot of books. Usually things that are non-fiction. So stuff, about the natural world, the environment. Uh, yeah, recently finished Merlin Sheldrake's Entangled Life, which was fantastic. Would recommend anyone who's interested in mycelium as a metaphor for community building, which I appreciate is very niche, but a really brilliant book. So, yeah, I would say mixing the things that I'm learning and up to date isn't necessarily always the most important thing about learning. I find it's usually about just following your interests and sort of finding interesting things in the world.
Great. And nine is about tools. Do you use both digital and analog tools?
What tools do I use? I I'm probably pretty minimal in terms of the tools that I use. So as an educator, I'm mostly using tools that help me to do that and help me to communicate with people. So I use a lot of Zoom, obviously, a lot of Microsoft Teams because that's the platform of choice for a lot of the organizations that I work with. I usually have to keep my tools pretty minimal because they have to be accessible by lots of different people who have varying different levels of security access for their work. So we use a lot of Google Sheets, we use a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of Google Slides. Yeah, what non-digital tools do I use? Cameras, lights, microphones, things that make the kind of learning experience easier. And of course, if I'm doing any physical workshops, there has to be post-its and pens, and the occasional kind of noise-making instrument. I'm actually looking across my desk at a clown horn, which I hate to say is a kind of key workshop tool, mostly just because it helps people to realize that they need to stop talking more effectively than me shouting at them. So yeah, it's also quite fun. So yeah, these are the kind of very basic tools that I use. Zoom and a clown horn.
Mhm. Awesome. Halfway number 10. How do you deal with work life or life work balance?
Oh, well, I mean, going back to your previous question, not well, clearly. It's a constant battle, I think, for most people, myself included. I think I probably balance it by having kind of two very different interests at the same time. So, at the same time as running the School of Good Services, I also have a kind of side project, vegan meat business that I'm trying to get off the ground, using kind of locally sourced produce and turning it into kind of ethical, environmental, and healthy protein sources. So I do a lot of experimenting in the kitchen. I do a lot of growing. I do a lot of fermentation stuff with my hands, basically, and stuff that doesn't involve a screen. So yeah, having those two very diametrically opposed things that I'm doing really helps to kind of overcome that kind of digital fatigue that I think a lot of people have.
Great. And if you weren't doing what you do now, what might you be doing?
Oh, yeah, I think I mean I probably would be going full tilt at producing some vegan meats. Yeah, I love to cook and love to tackle really interesting challenges. And there is a really interesting challenge at the moment of how we bring together the kind of local food movement and all of the brilliant things about that with yeah, plant-based, low carbon input eating as well in a way that doesn't require, enormous amounts of precision fermentation technology and huge amounts of investment. So, yeah, this is a particular challenge that I'm kind of tackling at the moment and really loving doing that alongside, yeah, helping people to produce better services. So I think I probably would be doing that. And if I were to kind of go back in time and do none of this, to be honest, I probably would be a biologist or some sort of scientist in that kind of space. And I would probably find my way to doing what I'm doing now anyway, to be honest.
Nice. And what would you not like to do with your career?
Ooh, what would I not like to do? That's a really great question. I think I would probably not like to go back to doing very high pressured executive roles. I enjoyed the time that I had doing those roles. I learned a huge amount doing it. And I am very happy supporting people who are in those roles. But I think for me, I am much more interested in what we're doing rather than how we're doing it. I'm not a big process or procedure kind of a person. I like ideas. I hate being one of those people who says that they're an ideas person, but unfortunately I am. I love working with teams. I love forming teams, but ultimately, yeah, the bureaucracy will get me in the end. So, yeah, I think I'm enjoying having a little bit of a break from that. If I ever go back to it, I might do. But certainly it's not it's the one thing that kind of leaps to my mind when you ask me that question, what I wouldn't want to do, and that is yeah, sit 9 to 5 at a desk filling in spreadsheets about budgets and headcount. That doesn't fill me with joy.
Nice. And do you have a favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Ooh, yeah, I have a few. I feel like my work definitely involves a lot of quotes and memes and making things really simple. So I think there's a few. Probably the one that I say the most is that good services are verbs and not nouns. And so that really is very, very true when it comes to people being able to find a service. What they're looking for is an activity that they're trying to get done. And ultimately, that's what a service is, something that helps someone to do something. So, what people are usually looking for are verbs like, how do I learn to drive? Or, get a pension or something like that, rather than necessarily, fill in form V111 or any of the other peculiar nouns that we like to give our services. So that's one saying that kind of I tend to repeat a lot. The other I would say is that, certainly when it comes to kind of supporting people who are in quite challenging roles, I tend to talk about being an idealistic pragmatist a lot. So that idea that, you're idealistic about what you want to get done, but pragmatic about how you get there
Mm.
is something that I certainly have really tried to cultivate in myself, but also support a lot of people with that journey right now. And I think both of those things are equally important so that we do good work whilst not burning out in the process. So yeah, those are two things I probably say the most.
Great. And how about a least favorite word, quote, or sentence?
Ooh, least favorite work. I mean, going back to your question about what I wouldn't want to do, I think to be honest, anything that involves um, process or procedure kind of gives me the kind of cold sweats. Um, I would say, you know what, the one thing that really I think I find more difficult than anything else is someone who talks about kind of not boiling the ocean. This idea that, we can't think too big or too widely about a problem. And it usually is said with good reason. It's usually because that person has a deadline or quite a narrow scope, or they need to get something done by in a very particular way. But it is becoming a somewhat ironic term because, of course, the fact that we haven't really thought about these big systemic problems in the right way is sort of the reason why we are in the situation we are with the climate. So this kind of phrase of boiling the ocean is kind of becoming a little bit traumatic, I think, for a lot of folks and me included. So yeah, I think anything to do with reinforcing the separation between, kind of big problems and thinking about them properly, yeah, gives me the cold sweats, I would say. So yeah, that's my phrase I would least like to hear.
Great. And 15, you're choosing one word to describe yourself. What word do you choose?
Ooh, hmm, that's a very good question. One word. I can give you my favorite word. My favorite word is laconic, which means that you're saying the most in the fewest possible words. I don't know if that would describe myself, but it's certainly what I aim to be as a communicator, and as a writer. And I think probably as a person, I think the word that I would like to choose is probably fun. Somewhere between fun and laconic is kind of where I am professionally and personally, I think.
Great. And what keeps you up at night?
Oh, um, yeah, my very old house. When I say very old, it is very, very old. It's a kind of 16th century. So yeah, we moved here 3 years ago, and it's been a lot of renovation to this place and this site. And we moved here to try and yeah establish this kind of vegan meats business a little bit more, but we're on a very long journey of renovation and planning permission. So, a combination of local authority planning permission and the entropy that happens to old buildings over time as they slowly lose structure to insects, rot, all those sorts of things. Those are definitely the things that keep me up at night.
Great. And how about a dream you're chasing?
A dream that I'm choosing. Hmm. Um, Dream that I'm choosing. Hmm. That's a really good question. I think a dream that I'm choosing, probably
Sorry,
quite conscious.
chasing.
Oh, a dream that I'm facing, did you say?
A dream you're chasing.
Oh, I'm chasing.
Hmm.
Right, that makes more sense. Although I do like the idea of a dream that I'm choosing. Dream that I'm chasing, I think, is probably to have the ability to be able to design and deliver better services as a more widely accessible set of resources and skills for people. At the moment, it is very much something that organizations with lots of time and lots of money do. And that's great for those organizations, but it doesn't help the ones who probably need it the most. And so I am on a bit of a mission to make those skills more open and accessible to everyone. The other dream is, helping to fix the food system, maybe in a very small way, by, yeah, kind of closing that loop between all of the brilliant kind of vegetables and pulses that get produced in the UK, but do not get turned into food and bringing value back into that chain. So that's the other dream that I'm chasing. Two slightly different dreams, but related.
Great. And the last few here. What inspires you?
Ooh, I think, to be honest, in a very kind of basic way, I think the thing that I find most inspiring is people and their kind of unending supply of hope and optimism, actually. Especially given the kind of circumstances that a lot of people are going through at the moment. The thing that I find really inspiring is that we wake up every day and that we want to see a better world around us. And I think that's really inspiring and really wonderful. And yeah, I feel very privileged when I encounter that. So yeah.
Great. And 19, any advice you'd like to share?
Ooh, advice I'd like to share. Yeah, I would say to folks to take a deep breath and to appreciate the world and themselves. I think we don't spend enough time doing that in our super busy, high stress jobs. I think we kind of tend to try and kind of put ourselves and our own needs in the background when we are doing the type of work that we're doing in this sort of space. So I would say that that's kind of my advice as much to everyone else as it is to myself.
Great. And finally, number 20, how can our listeners keep tabs on you and what's our call to action?
Well, listeners can keep tabs on me by finding me on the internet. I'm in all of the usual places. You can find me on LinkedIn, of course, personally. You can find the business, the School of Good Services, on good.services. And you can find out everything about the new book there. And you can also access the 15 Principles of Good Services on that website as well, including free tools to help you to assess how well your service is doing against those 15 principles. So do go and check that out if people have not experienced that before. Yeah, I think those are the main places to find me.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining today. It's a true privilege to have you on. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Thomas.